Welcome to PLAMonday. It is a Monday, but it's not the usual PLAMonday on a Monday night. It is a PLAMonday on a Monday morning. For some reason, I've recalled that I have a appointment today at like the late afternoon and maybe early night. So I was like, I can either like cancel the stream or I can just move it forward for like 12 hours so that it's still 9:30, but it's now 9:30 in the morning. And so to prove to you that it's still morning, I can show you that we have some natural light coming to the workshop. You can see here is a little window. Normally it's completely dark, and now some natural light is coming through. But of course I will turn on the real lights because I can't see shit. So okay, so now this is like overblown. So let the camera adjust for a bit. So but it is Monday. I guess it's in the morning. It's weird that in the English there is no word between like the early morning and lunch, like noon. In German we have like Vormittag, what's basically called before noon and afternoon. But I don't think like before noon is a really an English term that you hear often. So it's still morning, like from after midnight till like afternoon, it's still morning, so it's kind of weird, but okay. I'm still here working on my Archer. No, it's not an Archer, it's a Lancer. My Lancer from 30-Minute Fantasies, and I'm still in the midst of painting the armor with some metallic paints and some weathering effects. I've already like here are two parts that are, I guess, almost finished at this point. I can show them to you. Let's see if I can pull up the presentation mode. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. So I've added some like weathering or some like scuffs in white so that it's a bit more, looks a bit more used, and I've also did a bit of shadow work here, and you can't see this on the camera that well, but it has a slight blue tint. I've worked with blue translucent colors, and so it has a slightly blue tint to it. So yeah, and I guess I have to like leave it as it is, or if I do a top coat, I might do like a glossy top coat, because I guess if I do a flat top coat, the metallic like illusion will disappear, and I like it that it's like yeah that it's shimmers. And then there is the second part I did right before I got into the stream. That's the white is a bit more pronounced on this one, and I will use some weathering dry paste to bring it down. So yeah, it was basically the idea to have this armor look like this. So I can show you the, or can I show you the, no, I don't have the Archer right here, but basically this was like black. So I will put it here. Okay. And yeah, first, before we start, because I have like the other parts are here. There is like, this is basically the whole like bottom section of the armor and the weapon. But before I start, I have to drink something. Normally I drink tea during those live streams when it's night, because I don't want to like do any soda or any other beverages. So I brought like tea. But now it's getting a bit too hot for tea. We are getting into summer, and also it's in the morning, so I can still drink coffee. So I brought my coffee equipment with me. So let's see, because I have my carafe with a V60 in it. Then I have some fresh grounded coffee. Let's see. We can also use this as a weathering material. So it goes all in there. And then I've brought my usual like thermos, and I brought the gooseneck kettle. I will now pour the water in there. I guess that's enough. So now we can just do the coffee. So let's. I don't have a scale. I don't brought the scale, but I will just do this. You know. I just wing it. Let's do the bloom phase. Pour in a bit of water and let it like sit for 30 to 40 seconds to have a nice bloom for all the coffee grounds. And then, well, I add the rest of the water, and then we have some delicious coffee. Yeah. So if you are watching this right now, normally I do PLAMondays on Monday night. Monday nights starts at 9:30 Central European time, and usually it goes like till midnight, like three, sometimes 2.5, sometimes 3.5 hours. And today is a holiday, public holiday, so I can do this at morning. And yeah, I usually try to keep the schedule regular. And now that we finished with the garden renovation, I might have more time and I can do this a bit more regular. So now we just add the rest of the water very slowly. This is some, I mean, of course it's specialty coffee, but this one is like, I got it from a coworker who did not enjoy the taste, because I guess they used it in a, oh, Over is here, Ohio. They used it in like a machine, like one of those like pressurized machines. And so yeah, it did not taste as good, but it's fruity. It tastes like berries. So let's see. You swirl it around a bit. Oh, well, glad you could made it to the stream. See, that's the benefit if I start earlier, and it's a holiday. Sarah is listening to. Oh, hi Sarah. Hi Sarah. How are you all? How are you having a nice day? Let me tell you, here it's wonderful. I've got up early in the morning. I sat in the newly renovated garden. I had some breakfast. I had my first coffee. This is actually my second one. So, yeah. I like this new, like, relaxing zone. Got so nice. It was a ton of work, but now it's finished, and now I can enjoy it all summer long. Yesterday we did our first like barbecue session for the year, and also the first barbecue session with the new equipment. And I might do a video soon. I guess I don't have the time today, but maybe next weekend I will do a video about the new garden on my like private channel, so that I can show you what we have worked on for the past 3 months. Oh yeah, breakfast at the porch. Cool. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So I'm usually not a big breakfast guy, because I don't, want to do all the prep to get a really nice breakfast. I enjoy breakfast, but usually it's just like some cake or some like cookies. So now we can see if I measured correctly. I don't want to spill anything. Okay, that's one cup. So get this out of the danger zone. So I have like a cup of coffee. Isn't that nice? Okay, so now let's do some painting. So let's start with this like a beak thing here that is located at the knee. Okay, so this is like an armor part that is on his kneecap. It looks like those like masks from the old doctors, and there are a few like dents in here, so I will fill them with like black paint, and then I will just add the white. We did garden work on Saturday for 6 hours, and now we can enjoy it a few. Oh, that's really rewarding. I know that feeling. I've had to look at this like construction site for so long now, and now it's finished, and everything is like comes together with the lights and with the grass, and we've added also like a few colorful lights, like solar lights that are only here in the summer months. So it looks like a rainbow. We found a new spot to put them, because we have this like really bland white wall in the garden from our neighbor. He put a big garage there because it's also his workshop, and so there is this white wall that almost like covers an entire side of the garden, and we decided to use this as a projection field, and we projected those colorful lights onto it, and now it looks like a rainbow. Last year I had this in the front of the house, but the front is a bit like too like busy, so that it didn't really come to fruition. So I guess I can just add a little bit of black here. I have no idea what I'm doing, basically. I just try some things and how they look and how they work. Never done this to this extent though. Normally when I paint stuff, it's just for my model dioramas, and they happen to be like, they usually don't have to look that nice because it's just for the background. So yeah. So I also updated the wheel mechanic. So I don't know if you know this, but I've created like a little program that if you type in the chat !spin, then it should spin a wheel with some talking points, and then I will talk about those things. I mean, there are a few like commands, like chatbot commands. You can pull them up with like !command or commands, I'm not sure. And yeah. Yeah, there it is. I'm glad it worked the first time. Oh. It's decoration. It's one of the points I've added today. because I was very, very motivated today, I got up quite early, and I've also redecorated. I would not say the house, because I try to keep the decorations to a minimum here. But there is a dining table at the dining room, and I try to have it decorated according to the season. It might be a bit cliche, but I'm a season decorating guy. I like to have, like, of course, winter is very easy, like Christmas. There is like decoration overflow. There is so many like themes and so many items you can decorate with and buy. Spring and summer is a bit like meh, I think. And also autumn is also very nice to decorate. For summer, I'm still missing a centerpiece for the dining table. I was like looking for some of those vintage bicycles made from like die-cast, but I can't find them. I was looking like in the stores, of course, and then online, at least last year, but I wasn't able to find one that fits my vision. But I know that I have seen something like this at some point, so I know they exist. I mean, a motorcycle is a bit easier, but a bicycle, like one of those vintage ones, like a woman's bicycle with like a flower basket in front or something like that. I know that it exists, preferable in like pastel colors. So, spring is just Easter decoration. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And for some reason, there are always like two kinds of decoration that you can buy. There is the very minimalistic one for each season. And then, of course, there is the kitsch one. And I don't like either of them. But for summer, it's also kind of hard, because summer decoration is either, if you go to the store and look for summer decoration, there is either like a pool party setup, like very colorful, very plasticky, with like some fruits and like straws and like what are inflatable things. And the second one is like Nordic, like a North German, like with a lighthouse and with like some boats, fishing boats and nets, and like a beach scene. And yeah, it's okay. I had this in my apartment in Vienna, but now I want to redecorate. And basically, what I have now is like some dried weeds and flowers, like that you can find on a cornfield, at the side of a cornfield, like poppy, stuff like that. So it's a dried. It's. I guess there was real plants at some point, but they dried it, and now I can show it off. And I've placed a wine glass in the middle, and had like some pebbles, some very shiny dark red pebbles, and I put them in there, and now it looks like that there's a bit of wine in there, and it spills out onto a tissue. I was like shopping for like tissues, those like for the table tissues, and I was like, oh, I can find some of them pretty easily, and nothing. There was nothing like that really spoke to me. They were either like totally boring, like one color, like just a yellow one, just a green one, just a black one, and then there were like those like the ones that were overloaded with graphic design, like those real boomer things with like silly little quotes on them, like home sweet home, or like, oh, pool party, and no, so bad. I was like also going through like this huge shopping mall that we have nearby, and there is almost no decoration store left. Some of them closed due to like bad economy, and now there are almost no decoration stores left. It's a bit sad. Ah, it's the weather command. Yeah, that's a nice one. We have like really nice summer weather. Almost too nice for that point of the year. I should drink my coffee though. It's like, I guess I can drink it now. That's good coffee. Yeah. So, but I guess today was the day to redecorate from spring or Easter to summer theme, because today's holiday is the official end of the Easter season. And also it almost feels like summer now. It's getting really hot outside. And we also decided to have some, there is like a flower pot that we put into the driveway. And basically we want to keep it with like flowers from the season. And yeah, guess it will look nice at some point. I have to use the bonsai as a thing where I clip things because this one is overflown. So yeah, but I know that you also like to decorate your home, Ova and Sarah, especially in the winter months. It's also my favorite kind of decoration because it's like so, it stands in a stark contrast to like the actual outside where it's not much is going on. But then again, I try to keep the decorations to a minimum. I'm even at Christmas, I'm not a person who is decorating the whole house from top to bottom. Mainly because, you know, with decoration, it's the thing that you can decorate your home. But if you do it like for special occasions, like Christmas or like Halloween, at some point the season will end, and then you have to find a place to store it. And if you overdo it with the decorations, even if you own a house with a basement and with an attic, yeah, you might run out of space, or it might be like a burden to put it on and to get rid of it. So yeah, that's why I don't overdo it. Especially in the garden. I mean, at Christmas in the garden, we have all those like light sculptures that you can pretty easily buy those days. It doesn't cost much money to have those, but where do you store this? Yesterday we joked around that there was like this big Christmas deer that we saw at a restaurant. And I guess it's like one big piece, because I guess you can't really dismantle this. So where would you store this? Or there are like those real huge Christmas balls that are illuminated that we have seen on TVs at some shows. And we were like jokingly like, maybe we can rent them. We just basically rent the stuff, and then I mean, I guess if you have like a TV production in a studio, they also rent these things. So we might be able to rent some of the Christmas decorations. It would be like the first private household that rents the Christmas decorations. I mean, I guess renting a Christmas tree is a thing. In America, but you know, Sarah says you should buy a chicken as decoration. Actually, we have, but we hadn't found the perfect place. We have a couple of glass chickens. Because my parents, when they still used to go on to summer vacation, they usually visited the same spot with the same hotel, and there was like a glasery. Is it glasery? It's like a manufacturing plant for glass sculptures, and they bought, like, each year they bought something, and we also have like chickens. They are like, I guess this size, made out of glass, and they are like colorful. So looks, I mean, some of the things they bought look kind of weird. They're just like sculptures, like balls. I mean, for the roses, like that you can put into the rose bushes. But some of them look like corkscrews. But the chickens are kind of cute. But we haven't found the perfect spot to put them. We have a rooster. There's one bigger rooster, and then we have like 5 or 4 chickens. And they are stored in the basement. And yeah, can't store all this decoration because of the lab stuff in the basement. Yeah, I mean, that's also a problem. I can't store much in the basement because there is a storage room, but I've moved here and it was already full with like stuff we already had, and also my parents use the basement as a storage because they don't have a large enough one in their apartment. So yeah. But luckily, I will now start to get rid of some things quietly. Because my parents are kind of, wouldn't say like messy, because we have like a upper middle class. It's more like collecting. If you are poor, it's messy, but if you are like rich, it's collecting. But they can't get rid of stuff. It's like, oh, this cost money at some point, so we have to keep it, and maybe we will use it again. And I'm like, if I don't use it like in 2 or 3 years, I will just question its existence and maybe throw it out. Because at some point you won't even know what you're having. I guess I have to use a bigger brush for the inside. The inside of those parts is always like the section where I think, does this even matter to paint it? And then you put it onto the model and you can totally see the inside as well. So it's like, curse it. Why it has to be 3-dimensional and has to be like 3 sides? Can it be like 2-dimensional? I guess I will just add some black here to give the illusion of a deep, never-ending shadow. It swallows all the light. Okay. Yeah, but at my apartment in Vienna, I decorated quite a bit more. Especially for like Halloween, we had the whole like entrance decorated with some black fabric and with some spider webs. Because when we opened the door for trick-or-treating, people would see it. And I'm always torn about, like, at one side you always tell yourself, when it comes to decoration, you don't do it for other people, you know, because if you put something in the garden, it's always like, oh, but people won't see it because it's in a corner, or you know, you have to put it there where you can see it from the porch. But then again, then you tell yourself, oh, you don't do it for other people, you do it for yourself. But you know, it's kind of a lie, though. If you have something like nice looking, you want people to actually see it and notice it. So yeah, because for me, I won't see it. It's like I have this big showcase in my living room that I use for my figures, and it's illuminated, and it is like set on a like timer that it comes on at night. But the bad thing is that the living room is kind of a side room at the house, and so I won't see it because normally I don't be in the living room that much. So in the apartment in Vienna, the living room was the center of the apartment. So each time you go to the kitchen, you go to the toilet, you go through the living room and you see your illuminated showcase. But now it's just, I can see that it shimmers in the distance, but I won't like see it all that much. Is there? Yeah, there is a small indent in here that I can try to fill with black paint. Let's see. With a steady hand. And maybe I can put this over here. Yesterday I was also like my annual or biannual visit to the attic. I was climbing the ladder up there and equipped with a vacuum, and I vacuumed the attic. I mean, there is nothing up there besides a few like figure boxes, because I use the attic to store the figure boxes. Because there's no space in the basement, and also besides the attic and the basement, I think the attic is the better storage solution for those boxes, because in the basement it's still kind of moist, so I don't know. And the attic is now I mean we just prettied it up a bit so that you can actually go there, because when we started with the renovation, it was just like 5 centimeters of dust there, and you wouldn't want to go there at all. But now it's kind of nice. But still, there's nothing up there, and it's super hot up there, and in the summer and in the winter it's super cold. So yeah. And at some point, if there is like the people come over from the fire department, they will expect the attic to be empty, or at least don't have any like burnable materials in there. So, and this is like all, I guess, 10 years or so. So I have to move everything down and then put it back up once they leave. It's always kind of crazy that if you have a house, you still have to abide to regulations, and you can't store stuff in the attic, for example, because of fire reasons. I don't know. I mean, the whole house is made out of wood, so... that reminded me of Sarah decoration pieces on one of her parents' neighbors has on the garage. If she finds pictures, I send it via Discord. Oh, okay, yeah. There was this one guy in Vienna where I lived that had this big Santa Claus figure on his garage. And normally you would think, okay, it's just an inflatable thing where you put air into it. But no, this was a solid piece of statue. I don't know if it was like made out of plastic or some like stone material, but it looked very creepy. It was basically a Santa Claus that was sitting on the edge of the garage in like this pose, like kind of the thinker pose. And of course it was, since it was not an inflatable, it was like a painted sculpture, and it was also a bit faded, so it didn't look as nice as it could be. And I was always thinking about, where does he store this thing? Until I noticed that when Christmas is over, he just pushes it back onto the roof of the garage, so that it's not on the edge anymore. He pushes it back, and he just puts some flowers and some like flower pots in front of it. But it's one of those like decoration items that you don't see anywhere. It's like some of those decoration items you see in every second home or in every second lawn, because you can just easily buy them at the like garden or hardware center. But sometimes people have stuff where you think, where did they even buy this? Where did they even get this? I mean, there is this one crazy dude in our neighborhood who like does his own decorations with like electronics and lights and some motorized like basically animatronics. I mean, not on a Disney level, but still very crude, but still awesome. At least for Halloween. For Halloween, it looks fitting, because they use like puppets and you know, those like mannequins from the store. So for Halloween, it's easy to decorate, and he says this himself. He likes Halloween decorations because he can like put up it doesn't have to look so good. If it looks like kind of messed up, it's a good thing for Halloween decorations. But he also does it like for winter and for Easter, and then it looks a bit could be better, but it's still a ton of work. So I guess it's the thought that counts. Because if your house bursts into flame, it will probably be a problem for the neighborhood, at least the fire department. Yeah, that's true. Wouldn't say that never happened, because 2 houses near me, the whole house burned down a couple of years ago. So that's the reason why we have like all the houses look the same, and that one is just a new like house. Like, you know, when you build a new house these days, you just tend to build a cube, a concrete cube, and so yeah, it looks like that. But now they are starting to pop up everywhere. There was one house that got demolished this season, and for some reason they also like filled in the basement, so it's now an even surface. And I think they will just also build a large bungalow, like a single store home there, because people, of course, don't like the multi-floor layout anymore. And I get it, because if you're getting older, and it's the same case with me in this house, and I've seen this with my grandparents. If you get older and you have like a first floor and a basement, it's all nice and dandy until you can't climb the stairs anymore, and then you're basically trapped into one floor. Because those like structures, I mean, you can, I guess, refit it with some like elevators, but it's not that easy. You can't just basically put in one of those like sitting elevators onto the staircase, because the staircase is kind of messed up. So yeah. And so I get why people tend to use like one single floor and build a bit bigger. Also, then you don't have that much of a garden area, so you don't have to, you know, maintain the garden. Because we had so much work, and it cost so much money to redo the garden, and we still have, compared to other like houses here around, and also like what you could have, it's still a small garden. It's like for people who has like a real big garden, they would laugh at this like tiny one. They would say, oh, that's not a real garden. I have like basically like what, a couple thousand square meters. But then again, if I think about it, what would you do with such a large garden? You can't really like use it. It's just basically, most of the people that have it are just like have a basic like lawn, maybe some trees, some fruit trees, but yeah, maybe a pool. But then again, if you have a really big garden, usually there is nothing in it because it would be hard to maintain. It's just space, because it came with the house, because back then we didn't care. We just grabbed the land that was available. Just build a giant Odaiba Gundam at the garage. Put a Santa hat on Chris. Oh, that's actually a good idea. That's actually a good idea. I mean, now I'm planning, but I don't know if it comes to fruition. But at least I'm planning for a bigger Halloween party, or at least like decoration. Because last year I wasn't sure if Halloween is celebrated here around the neighborhood, but it definitely is. I mean, I was not sure, because when my grandparents were still alive, they did not participate. And so, of course, there weren't any like children that rang the door, because here it's like a custom that you only go to neighborhoods where you can clearly see that they participate in Halloween as a celebration. They put out some like jack-o'-lanterns and some lights and some decorations, so you know, okay, they might give you some candy. You don't go like from house to house and basically ring every door, because still this part where I live is still in a generational shift, where you have lots of houses that almost look like abandoned, but there are still like very old people living inside, and so yeah, they don't participate. But yeah, last year have shown me that there are so many groups of people and kids and groups with their parents that participate in Halloween, and so I was like, okay, I can do something bigger, and yeah. So the plan was to use the porch or the driveway to maybe put up some like festival like stand, like a booth with some shooting targets, and I can use some Nerf guns, because Oki inherited a very large collection of Nerf guns, the really big ones like the semi-automatics and automatics from one of his friends. So he has now this whole like rack of Nerf guns, and maybe we can put up some shooting gallery for the kids. And if you do well, you might get some extra candy. So this might be a nice thing. But of course, I have to actually do it and build the booth. And then again, building it is one thing, but where do I store it? Or maybe I trash it and build it from new every time. Or we'll just like ask the city if I can rent one of those booths. Then we are at the renting theme again. Because basically you can buy this stuff. You can go to the wholesale store, like the Metro, and you can buy like a whole like wooden like booth where you can like that you are usually used for Christmas markets and whatnot. So you can buy this stuff. It's not that expensive actually, but then again, where do you keep it? So maybe I will just go to the mayor and ask him if he can lend me one of his wooden boxes for a couple days. Yeah. I mean, they are desperate for money anyway, because each time when you read the like city newspaper that they put out each month, or is it each quarter? I don't know. They always say, "Oh, the budget is like strained, and we don't have that much money, and like the government is bleeding us dry." And if you go like to a park section here nearby, there is this old abandoned monastery. Everything they did renovate everything, but there is still this one monastery there, and of course they have like signs in front of it. Hello, good morning, good morning. Glad that you could made it to the stream. I've decided to do it on Monday morning this time because I have an appointment at the late afternoon. So I was like, it's a holiday. I can do this. And maybe some folks can join in who cannot watch it late at night. So yeah, use it as a shed. Yeah, we already have a shed, so that's we don't need so much sheds. But it would be nice to have like a punch stand, like a punch booth at Christmas or like the winter season. The only thing that is still missing in the garden is a fireplace. I guess I will get it like by the end of the week. And I'm very curious about the fireplace because I could convince my parents to have one, but of course we settled on a gas fireplace. We are such a Hank Hill family. We just never use charcoal. We just use gas. Because I like a fireplace, but I'm also I know that I would not use it because then I would have to start a fire, and that's not a task I would do. And with the gas one, I can just press a button and the fire comes on. But I'm curious how it will look, because on all the pictures you see like this really big flame that is coming out, and I'm like, that's usually not how gas fireplaces work. So, because if you have like a gas grill, like a barbecue place, then it's also not like a huge fire that is coming out, it's just like burning like a gas stove. So it's like, and you can also clearly see that all those like product pictures are just fake. They just, you know, paste the fire in there. Yeah. So I'm curious how this will look like. I mean, the original plan for the garden was also to have a fountain, a small one, and also did not pull the trigger on the fountain because, first, of course, we did not find one that was like to our likings, and also you have to maintain the fountain then, and if it's a small fountain, you have to maintain it even more. You have to constantly refill water that evaporates. You have to clean it. If you have like a room fountain, that was like pretty was a pretty big thing, like in the early 2000s, to have like small room fountains. You still had to clean it and get rid of the limestone. But it's just in the room. It doesn't much happen to it. But if it's outside, you still have to clean it from like leaves and maybe some some dead animals, some bugs. Yeah. So we did not go through with the fountain. And also I had a fountain in Vienna at the balcony. And first it was like kind of nice because you hear the water splashing, but over time it got pretty annoying. Like it's like when you go to a river, you hear the river and you think, oh, that's nice sound, but it's only a nice sound because you're going to the river and you can leave at any moment. But if you have like this constantly splashing water sound, it gets a bit annoying. For yourself and maybe also for the neighbors. Especially if you let it run until like late at night. So yeah, no fountain in the garden. I mean, we have so much fountains here in the village, because apparently our mayor is a big fountain stan. So we have like several of them. One is more like look like different. There are ones with sculptures, and there are ones with like where the water is coming out from a wall. So if I want to see a fountain, I just go around the village and I will look at them. It's not a big deal. We have a fire basket and a fire bowl for the garden and for lab events. I mean, yeah, of course, if you have like this specific hobby, you can't go there with a gas fireplace. It would like just bringing it would just like bringing my car to a Cars and Coffee. Would not be wise. I mean, technically it's a car, but you know, it's just a grocery getter. So yeah. And I do like the aesthetic. That's why I want to have it in the garden. I do like the smell. I do like the aesthetic, but I don't like the the work that has to be put in, because I have to store like the wood. You have to clean it because it leaves the ashes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm curious how the gas one will do, because I mean there are those like bigger, like more like pillar-sized one that you might see in front of a restaurant, and they usually have like a fire in it. So maybe it's possible to do this, to have like real flames that are visible, not just like tiny ones at the bottom. So yeah, I'm curious. We also ordered, because when you order stuff like this that is kind of specific, like a gas fireplace that has to be able to store the gas bottle, the smaller one. It's like 5 kilo or 6 kilo. It's the smaller one. The next larger one is what you use for a barbecue. It must be able to store it inside, because there are plenty of those like gas fireplaces that have just a tube and it's connected to the gas bottle that is like standing nearby, but that wouldn't look as nice. So we had to find one that is able to store it inside. It's just basically just a table, and you put it underneath, and then you can also use it as a small table to put stuff. And of course, if you buy something that specific, you have to go and order it online. And usually you start with like Amazon or like eBay, and this is like all centered around the German market. And there was like a sign that says it's for German gas bottles. And now we are wondering if like Germany and Austria has like different standards when it comes to gas bottles, like also from the connectivity. And yeah, so I don't think so, but maybe there is a difference. So maybe we have to tinker something together, remove the pressure valve thing, and use one of our old grills. Because sometimes you have this like unnecessary standards here in Austria that are different than Germany. So I'm also very very happy how the studio decoration turned out at this point. It's basically just a coping thing where I can display all my figure boxes. And it's a good thing that more and more figure boxes are opting for a windowless design, so that you can even display them once they are empty. But yeah. I like how the wall is coming together with like little tidbits that you can see across the videos, and maybe you'll notice some changes, because sometimes I remove stuff and I put new ones in. I still have to, like, maybe I can redecorate the bonsai tree, the Lego one, because last year I did not do this. I just let it in the blooming phase. But maybe I will just change the leaves to the green ones. And I also had a special set of leaves that I bought separately on Bricklink, where I can just fake an autumn bonsai tree, so that I at least have something for 3 seasons. And if you are like hardcore, you can just remove all the leaves for the winter season and have them like only the twigs. But last year I did not find the time to do this, so yeah. And at some point, when it's like June or July and you still have the cherry blossom set on, you think, doesn't matter anymore. So you will not do it. But maybe I will do this. And like the little obedient consumer that I am, I ordered the second bonsai tree. The what's this, like the Ahorn? I don't know what's the English term. So yeah. So I might have a second one to display at the studio soon. And I have one real bonsai tree on the garden table that we bought last year at the a garden center. So, you know, real quality there. But for some reason, it got really, it developed really nicely. So it grew and grew and grew, and I've even bought some scissors and some fertilizer. And we put it into the greenhouse over the winter, and it was one of those plants that really liked the greenhouse. So like a real tree, it almost got rid of all its leaves, or most of them, and now in the spring it regrew them, and it looks so pretty. But it's the only one that I have because, you know, I like bonsai as a concept, but then again, I don't want another hobby that is very time consuming, and you have to take care of those plants, and you have to water them, and you have to cut them. So yeah. We also have to be careful not to buy too many plants that aren't resistant to cold weather, because the glasshouse isn't that big, so we can just store a limited amount of plants there. But someday this summer, maybe in June, I guess it was June, I will visit a place of a co-worker from my mother when she was still working. She had I guess it was a co-worker that has a real nice Japanese garden, like filled with like bonsai trees, and they also have this as a hobby. So we will look at this. We'll visit the place, and I might bring my smart doll and take some pictures. So, okay, this one is ready. This one is also ready. Is this one? Yes. Can barely make it out. It's okay. I really have to be careful not to stream too long because now it's like in the morning, so I can go all day, but I still have to do other stuff. I once had a bonsai tree, but when I went on vacation, my family took care of my plants, and somehow poor little thing didn't survive. Oh no. That's always like my concern when I go on vacation or on holiday with the plants that I have at the company. Because of course I was the guy who brought like so many plants into the office, and when I'm there I take care of them. And people always say like, oh, you're so good with plants, and I'm like, yeah, I water them, I try to like give them sunlight, and sometimes I just spray them with like water to keep the plants, the leaves hydrated, because basically most of the or all of the indoor plants that we use or that we can buy, and if you go around the garden center you will notice that there aren't many indoor plants, like different kinds. It's usually just basically like a dozen like basic plants. They are all tropical nature, so they prefer a moist, hot, moist environment, and inside it's most likely hot or warm, so that's okay, but it is also kind of dry. If you have like a normal room, a normal house or a normal apartment, it's too dry for those plants, and you might have to spray them with water every so often. And so I did this, and so yeah, I'm the plant guy. And of course, if I go on vacation, I will tell them, don't forget to water the plants. But and usually they do. I mean, they aren't jerks, but somehow they don't do it enough, or they do it too much. And yeah, every time I come back from a longer holiday, you can clearly see they aren't as nice as they are used to. And yeah, so I also stopped bringing the plants to the office, because at some point, you know, we don't want to have a garden center over there. Okay, is there a second? Yeah, there's a second one. But bonsai trees are notorious high maintenance because first of all they have like those tiny like pots, so you have to really constantly water them, even most likely on a daily basis, especially if you have them outside. And yeah, I mean, cutting them isn't like necessary if you don't care about the look of it. And I'm also like, I don't know, when it comes to cutting a bonsai tree or cutting any plant for that matter, I usually don't like to do it. I want to like let it grow. I mean, of course, I have to trim the bushes in the garden each autumn. But usually, if I have a herb plant, like you can consume the herbs. You can buy some basil or some like what is it, like basilicum or like thyme. It's made to consume, but usually I don't consume it. I just buy it, put it there, let it grow, and if I'm in need of some herbs, I will just buy herbs at the store. Or mint, for example. I can I have a mint plant for my drinks, and then I will never use the leaves because I don't want to like cut the plant. I want to consume it. Oh, there is some sticky tape on it. Yeah. So I guess I now have all the shadows, and now I can add the highlights with the white. Let's switch to the other brush, and coffee is cold, I guess. Brings out the flavor. There is like there's this one point where it stops being hot, like mouth burning hot, and then the flavor comes out. And if it's cold, it might not be like your typical stereotypical hot coffee, but it brings out the flavor profile even more, which is kind of weird because normally you would say hot things or like warm things bring out the flavor. That's the reason why we drink cold beer, because actually it doesn't taste that good. So we want to have a cold beer because a warm beer brings out the flavor even more. But for some reason we don't like that. Okay, so white. So white. And apparently some plants just have a natural like lifespan. I mean, of course, there are those that only live for a season. Like a sunflower is like most famous for it, I guess. You can take good care of a sunflower, but it will just die after it bloomed. So there is no like, you can't keep this around. But even some trees might die after some period of time. I mean, it's also kind of interesting that some trees will just stop growing at a point. So there is like always a height to a plant that is like advertised. And so I guess it's kind of like a human. A human will also stop growing. So. But with a plant, you might not associate this with a fixed height, because it might look it grows forever. So what I'm now trying to do is, because this paint is really like liquid, I try to get as as little as possible on my brush, and I will use the side of the brush, and I just smear it onto the edges of the armor, so that it looks like that the metal is like scraped off or like worn out on those edges. Does it like form little cracks? I've never seen this. Is there like a reaction between those colors? Because for this one I use different like types of colors, like on a chemical basis. So maybe it's there's a reaction to it, and it forms little cracks. But the cool thing about this project is that it doesn't really matter, because it's just like weathered armor, so everything goes, I guess. So next stream will be on Friday, of course, for full time. And I might even be able to do something off stream on the diorama, so that there might be actual progress between streams. I don't know if I can finish this project in June and do the photo, but I will aim for that at least. Because now it starts the season where it gets really hot outside, and of course it also gets hot inside the house, especially upstairs, where the studio and the PC is located. So I might be inclined to spend a little more time in the workshop, and you know. And if I really have to use a PC, I have one here as well. So I'm becoming the seasonal basement dweller. Because that's the nice thing about the basement. Doesn't matter how hot it gets outside, the temperature here stays the same. So basically, if you go up the attic and go down into the basement, you just basically experience a real drop in temperature. That's always kind of funny. You come from upstairs and then you go to the base floor, and then go to the cellar, the basement, and yeah, it's like getting colder. And if you go upstairs, it becomes hotter. Of course, soon after that you won't notice it anymore, but yeah. I still don't. When we do the renovation, we did not install an air conditioning unit here, because I think it's not that extreme yet. I might have to install some in the future if it gets really hot. If it gets really hot, and if climate change makes it unbearable to live here. But for now it's totally okay. Yeah, I can do this. Or maybe I will do it before I leave the company or before I retire. Let's see which one comes first, because we have like some air conditioning companies as our clients, so we might get an incentive if we buy some. I mean, we tried this with the heat pump, and we ended up with one of those, but we did not get like real big incentives, especially for new units. But I think an air conditioning system is easier to install. You can do this on your own over a couple of cold ones. But a heat pump is a bit of a different thing. Also, you have to maintain it. And if you do it on your own or like do it some illegal contractors, they might ask then if it comes to maintaining the system, who did install it? And then you can't say, okay, did it ourselves. might be a warranty thing. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that in the summer months, I might do more workshop things. But of course, I also have to do the reviews as well and don't neglect them. So I can't spend all my time down here. Okay, so I can show you now the difference between those parts once I'm satisfied with it. The brush is now like totally dry and like sticky. The paint has all dried up and glued together the hair of the brush. So usually that would be a bad thing, but actually it's exactly what I need to do this. Yeah. Is the microphone still working? I really have to buy some batteries. But for some reason the store where I buy the batteries, like normal grocery store, they have those like store brand batteries that are available. I don't know if they are cheap. I mean, they are of course cheaper than normal like brand name batteries, but I don't know if they are like the cheapest batteries that you can get. But I'm burning to quite a few batteries because I have to use it on this microphone, and I have to use it on the tricorder that I have, like the audio recorder for the reviews. So I'm burning through batteries quite fast, and for some reason they are out of batteries, and the store Okay, so yeah, this was what I was talking about. Did you hear the story about the batteries? Why is this so loud? Yeah. Let me see. Test. Okay, so yeah, this was what I'm talking about, the batteries. So the batteries, I have to get new ones till Friday, because otherwise there won't be a stream. I mean, I guess I can use other microphones, but yeah. I was like, I was sure that this will happen at some point in the stream, because the batteries aren't fresh. I don't know how long those will hold up. And also that now that the work is finished, I can also reinstate the Friends with PLAMonday format, where we build model kits together here in the workshop. And so we'll also use some batteries for the second microphone. And yeah, so I have to buy batteries. I can't do it today because today is a holiday and all the stores are closed, but yeah. And like I said, I don't see the microphone if it's working, or at least I don't look at it constantly, so thanks for that. It would be so nice if this would make a sound when it's empty. Even one short beep would be enough to know, okay, now I have to change it. It's like the total opposite to my headset that I use on the PC. That is an old headset, an old Sony headset that I inherited from my roommate. And I was like, maybe I'd buy a new one at some point, but it still works, and I'm frugal in some cases, so I don't. And this one is like, sometimes it beeps. It makes some. It's not constant. It's just when you turn it on, it just makes a sound that almost sounds like, hey, I might run out of battery. But I've never experienced it dying down. It's like always. It holds the battery so well. It's kind of amazing. I don't know how it works. Sometimes I just reload it when I have the feeling that it's going on for so long now, but usually it never died on me when I used it. Unlike my mouse. Yeah, that's the thing with like wireless equipment, that it might die in the most annoying situations. But then again, I don't want to have like cabled things. Especially my mouse. Luckily, I'm not a big like gamer. I'm not a big esport type, so I don't have to worry about like latency. And for the headphones as well, I know that the sound isn't as good with like Bluetooth or wireless connection, but once you have experienced no cable, you don't want to go back, because at some point you might stand up from your desk, and with like cableless equipment, I can just leave the PC and I might be able to still hear something. Even though if the range of those products is still terrible. They are always advertised as you can go like 15 meters, 20 meters. Yeah, as soon as there is no wall between you and the dongle, then it's okay. But if you leave the room, it will start to, the signal will start to fade. So. This totally reminds me of the time when we had to still, when the coolest thing you could have was a walkie-talkie as a child or as a young adult. You bought some walkie-talkies and then you were able to like communicate. And of course, we also use like walkie-talkies at work. I guess some of them use in the warehouse, and I'm never able to understand anything they are saying. It's always like, what did he just say? And if you have to do some real conversations, you will still call them on the phone, or just do it like face-to-face meeting. But a walkie-talkie is a cool thing. I mean, it's like, you know, I guess it's because of all the movies and the shows where you see this. It's like the what is it called? Like the device you can record yourself on a small cassette. I had one of those. Like, I still have, I think, but I had one of those, and it's like memo to myself, do this and that. It was so cool back in the 90s when you could do this. Nowadays it's ridiculous. You can just take a voice memo onto your phone. So I guess I can stream until this battery dies as well, because they aren't fresh batteries. They are just like whatever lies around. And I don't have any means to check the battery level. So if this one dies, its stream is over. Okay, where is the white one? This is the white one, okay. So... That armor reminds me of that I still want to print some chainmail with the 3D printer and try it, or at least something that is interconnected. I mean, I have no usage for it, but I might do some, like, wouldn't it be nice to have like a chainmail for the smart doll? And then I could visit some Renaissance fair. There are a few of them actually around here. I always see the posters for the Renaissance fair. Because we have some castles and some places where they actually used some tournament places. Oh. Well, that might be actually a proper project to look into. Have some smart doll-sized armor. I still haven't decided what I will do with my bonus, half-yearly bonus. I mean, it's not really a bonus, but it's like, you know, you get some vacation money and some Christmas money from the company. Because, you know, otherwise our economy might collapse if you do it like the Swiss and pay it out over the year, like for your normal salary. But then you might not have any money left at the summer to go on vacation or on the Christmas season to buy any presents. So they have to babysit you and just give you the money lump sum right before the event. And I still haven't decided what to do with it. But basically there are a few options. I'm not a person who goes on summer vacation, because I really don't like it to go to some like beach resort or some like tropical island. So that's out of the question. But maybe I will just spend the money on some airbrush equipment or some 3D scanner. That might also be a nice thing to have, a 3D scanner. Or I will just use the money and book a flight to Japan for next winter, like for OneFest in February. Like always with those consumer decisions, I wish I had booked it way earlier, because at least this is what I'm hearing in the news. The tickets are now more expensive before the current geopolitical situation. But then again, I'm not sure if this is really true, because the longer I wait to book those tickets, the more expensive they get on a natural way. So I don't know. I just have to take their word. I got a matching set of armor to wear. I mean, maybe. I mean, like this one here with a 3D scanner, I could like scan those parts maybe and then like blow it up to a bigger size. At least I guess for smart doll it would be still possible. Human sized, I don't know, might be too little of a resolution. But yeah, Wincon, yeah, you always like that's your Madden talking point. Yeah, I don't know. It's like all of those events nowadays that you can't go there spontaneously, I think. I mean, I've always like was joking, like, for example, Dokomi. I was like looking into like Dokomi, if I can maybe go there. But then of course I looked at the site and all the tickets were of course long sold out. So yeah. It's not like back in the days where you can just simply show up at some place and you still expect to get something. Because those events are far too popular now. And for some reason, I think if you drop out this yearly like circle, like this whole circus, it's really hard to join it back, I think. Because back then we had our standard procedure, our standard times when we pre-ordered stuff and when we got stuff and when we booked our hotels. But nowadays, no. They might not even have a room for us anymore. So, no. So I also don't know if I will take some summer vacation. I guess it depends if I really book the flight to Japan, because then I have to, you know, keep my off days a bit longer. But it would be nice to do a little road trip in the summer, just like I did like 4 or 5 years ago, where I just hopped into the car and just drove somewhere without like real destination, and I just spent each night at a different place, at a different like hotel, or like a hostel, or like some small like farm, like bed and breakfast thing. Coffee still smells good, at least. That's also the nice thing about like fresh brewed coffee. If you ground it, the whole house smells like coffee. Usually I don't notice it when I'm in the kitchen, but as soon as I leave the house, or I leave the room and I come back, then I smell it and I'm like, oh, okay. It really smells like a coffee house then. Okay, there are the middle one. I forgot about the middle one. But I might all not do this to this extent at this year, to go some places, because right now I really want to enjoy the new garden and spend so much time there. Kind of settled on the idea that we might do some barbecue each Sunday to use the equipment, because it's just basically just like 3 months that you can really use it and enjoy it. And after that, it's already getting cold and dark outside. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't know if it's like how it might look on the final model, but I guess it will look decent. I mean, the armor parts are easy to paint because I have them separated, but the frame beneath it, the actual guy, I might have like paint as a whole thing because I don't want to put it apart anymore with all the cables running through. But since I've seen people doing this, like painting the whole model rather than individual parts, I think it has to work somehow. So now let's put them together. I mean, this one is out of competition, but the other ones, let me see if they are at least somewhat similar to each other. Yeah, okay. Because that's the thing with the weathering on those parts, since it's hand painted. If you start subtle and small, and you go to all of those pieces, and either you get sloppy because you want to press on, or you get like you're doing more and more and more and more, and you start like subtle on one piece, and then over time, as the work continues, it gets more intense, and so then the parts might look different. But this is okay, I think. So the white will also get reduced a bit once I apply the powder, like the weathering powder. So I have to account for that as well. So yeah. So microphone still on? Okay, yeah, fine. So I guess technically, I guess the cooldown of the wheel is already like off, so could be another topic. I mean, we talked about decoration. Decoration is also a thing where it's totally like inconsistent how much it costs, because some decoration items are really cheap, and some of them are kind of expensive, and it doesn't really so much about the quality, because some of the cheaper stuff can look nice, and some of the more expensive things tend to look worse and fake, especially with like fake plants. Some of them look nice and convincing, and some of them look like shit. So yeah, I'm shopping around. I had like in Vienna, I still had like those tulips, those plastic tulips. They looked really convincing. I mean, we made some advancements in the technology to produce those. You can see this on the fake fruits, because in the like before the 2000s, when I was young, if you have like a plastic apple, it was just a red piece of plastic formed like an apple. But nowadays they just form a like styrofoam ball or styrofoam structure, and they cover it with printed paper, so it looks like a real apple. So in terms of presentation, decor items look much nicer now. Oh, there is this funny story. We have like this thrift store that is, I wouldn't say a day trip away, but it's quite far. You have to go there on purpose. And this one is specialized in fabric, so you can get real like cheap fabric there. I guess it's some kind of liquidation store, so they buy stuff from companies and businesses that got liquidated. That's the reason why it's cheap, and also why it's kind of a treasure chest. You don't know what you're getting. And so it's specialized in fabrics. So of course it's a hot spot for all the cosplay people, especially around a major convention. So if you go there before like any night, you most likely run into some cosplay folks. Because compared to the upscale fabric store in Vienna, I guess the one that's still there, the large one, it costs like a third. And at the upscale fabric store, if you buy 3 meter, you get 3 meter of fabric. If you buy like at the outlet store, you get like, you say 3 meter, and they just, okay, maybe 3 meter, maybe 10, who knows, here it is. So yeah, but they also have like an enormous collection of what is it called, like buttons and like other things you use for clothes, like zippers and like leather straps and all kinds of things. But they also have some decoration items. And I mean, the fabric might be of some okayish quality. You might even find some treasures there in terms of like quality fabrics for some suits. Maybe you find some nice cashmere or some like silk or like really nice cotton. But the decorations items there are so bad. Oh my god. I don't even know where they are getting this from, because it's not your typical Chinese things that you might find in some of those discount stores. But it's so bad. And of course also very funny to look around and shop around there. Always gets a good laugh. Because usually it's kind of bad. So whenever I guess the only things that I bought there for decoration were like kind of ironic purchases. Like for Halloween, we purchased a few things. Because like I said, Halloween it can look crap and like run down and spooky and uncomfortable. But like all the other decorations, I mean, they also have a fair amount of like fake plants, like fake flowers, and they tend to look okay, because it's always kind of scary what fake plants and those like twigs that you buy for Christmas can cost in an upscale shop. It's like, holy smokes, like $10 for one twig, and you might need a dozen of them to fill a vase or some arrangement, and you're like, oh my god, it's so expensive. I mean, sure, it's fake, so you can use it, you can reuse it next year, but of course they are counting on it, that you forget that you have it, that you might get rid of it, you get sick of it, and you will buy a new one next year. That's the case with all of those like seasonal things. Even nowadays, when I visit the garden center, because we had to visit the garden center quite often, the couple past weeks, go figure. I'm always like thinking there is like this like soil, like they have like in the spring season they get like so many pallets of soil that basically the whole parking lot is covered in pallets with soil, like bags you can carry home. And I'm always, and then of course like your typical seasonal flowers, but also like normal flowers. And I'm always like, people are buying this and carrying it home, and I think like we are now doing a new garden, of course, so we have an excuse to do this. But then again, you can't imagine that each year you have to buy this, and it still get bought from some people. So it's interesting to see, because at some point you would assume that if you are shopping for like plants that are not seasonal, that you can keep during the winter, at some point you might not need any new ones. So, but yeah. I mean, I also kept my decorations in Vienna and also here, and I have to put them on each season, but I don't buy new stuff each year, because first of all I see this specific set of decoration a few weeks a year, so it doesn't really matter. And then of course I don't want to spend so much money on it. And let's be honest, there are a few, like, so many themes that you can decorate, especially with the stuff you can buy. I also really want to go to this one antique store that is located here in our city, because despite being here like around the corner, I've never visited, and it's a kind of a like upscale decor shop and vintage shop. You can clearly tell when they have like a yard sale, then the whole neighborhood is parked with expensive cars, and so they have like, it's not for home decor per se. They have like larger items. I mean, you can buy things for home decor as well, but it's usually like big sculptures and vases, and nothing like small items. But for garden, they have like benches and like stone structures and lanterns, like street lanterns, like the old ones. So it's an antique store, or like vintage, or like bespoke. I don't know if those things are like really old or just look old, but at least it's like bespoke. So I guess I will just paint all those parts white, the remaining ones, and then I will call it a day. And maybe I can work on it till next Monday off stream, that I might be able to paint the silhouette, so the guy inside the armor, so that we can move on in June with another plastic model kit. I actually wished I could do this at work. I mean, one of my coworkers brought a box of miniatures, like Warhammer things, at some point. Or I don't know if it was Warhammer, but it was some sort of tabletop box. And he was like, "Oh my god, I have to like paint this." And I was like, "Yeah, that's the whole point." Oh shit. Yeah. Okay, so this one is ready as well. So now there are just 4 smaller pieces left. So yeah, like I said, next stream on Friday, normal time, normal place. I guess this week I also have to film for the My Month in Figure video, because guess what? It's another month that is come to an end. I don't know if like next weekend is like the last days, but I have to, or at least I want to put this out before the month ends, so I have to film it after work at night. But of course, first I have to get my talking points straight. Hi there, Evie. What I'm making? I'm working on a plastic model kit, Rosen Lancer from 30-minute fantasy. The one you can see at the corner here, spinning. And right now I'm painting the armor with some weathering effects, some metallic parts, like the shield, for example, so that it's a bit scuffed up and has some battle damage on it. So, oh, Sola is here as well. Hi there. I've known it was a good idea to start the stream in the morning. Nobody's watching late at night. For some reason, people want to sleep. I don't get it, but it's okay. I mean, Technically, there also should be a command what I'm doing, but I don't know if this is well maintained. I don't think so. I have to like look into an automatic system that pulls the title. I don't know if I installed this correctly. Because that's the thing with like overlays that are very specific. You have to maintain them. Spins the second. It's the same topic. Is it rigged? Who knows? I can override the what is called the cooldown, I guess, at least because of the host. Let's see. When it goes away, I can override it. Let's see. Yay. So that you see that it's not rigged. It's the garden. Almost smart goal. So yeah, the garden. Okay, we can talk one last time about the garden. Because I had this in here for the last couple of weeks of the renovation. The garden was reinstalled during the last 9 months. Oh, 9 weeks, sorry. 9 months, yeah, if you count everything, it might be 9 months, but it's now finished. I had my last week of vacation touching some grass, laying some grass, and now I have to water the grass constantly because it's not the best season to plant it. It's too hot almost. And it looks so nice. I really have to film a video soon, as long as it's well maintained and clean, how it looks. Of course, I also can take some pictures, but pictures don't really convey it, I think. It's you have to experience this with your own eyes. And of course, you have to know where it came from. So it's like with everything. It's like the same with the house. If you don't know how it looked like before, then you see it and you think, yeah, it looks fairly normal. I think it's nothing like it's not Disneyland, or it's not like a garden from a what's it called, a castle, or like one of those Baroque things. But when you know where it came from and how it looked before, it's quite the glow up. So yeah. But now, of course, we have to maintain it. Like mow the grass, trim the bushes, water the plants. And I was also like, if I have my parents do this, especially my mother likes the garden work. I mean, I like it too. One of my earliest like dream job, we couldn't say it's dream job, but one of my early job wishes or ideas was to be a landscaper. Of course, that one came through, but oh, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing some plastic models on PLAMonday because today is Monday and it's a nice pun, I think. Normally I do this later at night at 9:30 at night, Central European time. But today is a holiday, so I can do it in the morning. And on Friday, same time at night, I'm doing some diorama works because I'm not a big plastic model guy. I'm fairly new to this hobby, and I started this as a side hustle because normally I'm building dioramas for my scale figures to do some figure photos. And after that, I just dismantle them, destroy them, and start from scratch. And on Friday, there is the show called Full Time, where I do just that. I just work on some dioramas. And usually now I'm sitting here just painting, but the full-time stuff is more like out there because I have to use all the tools in this workshop, and so I'm hopping around, and it's a bit more like chaotic and a bit more fun. And also I try to challenge myself with new things, so most of the time I'm not sure how things work out. So it might be a success, it might be a failure, who knows. I might even hurt myself. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm fairly sure at some point I will just like cut myself, or, you know, I mean, I have like a first aid kit down here. When I do some model kits, I can't really like, there is no danger, I think. I mean, I can, maybe I can get high on some paint or some glue, the fumes, but there is no danger, I think. But on full time, everything can happen, basically. So if you want to join me at the workshop, I mean, I might also do some special streams. Like, the idea was to have at least one day at the month where I build plastic model kits with some friends. So we are here together at the workshop, and we could chat, like person to person. I don't have to talk all the time, like basically to myself. And yeah, so I mean, I also started this little dollhouse kit on my birthday this week, and I don't know if I will just let it sit for another year in this state, or I will just continue working on it. Oh no, my tummy is rumbling. It has to. Oh, it has to be in mid lunchtime. My tummy is rumbling. Is there anything left from the barbecue last day, yesterday? I don't know. I mean, I've bought this like food time for 80. I've bought this really nice sausage from the chocolate factory. Isn't that a thing? I bought a sausage from a chocolate factory, and some nice bacon, like the lardo bacon, the totally white one, where it's basically just only fat. So there is no red. It's not like white and red stripes on the bacon. It's just white. Because when I go to the chocolate factory, I eat so much chocolate that at the gift store I'm usually like, nah, I'm good. I'm buying some meat. Because for some reason they also decided to start with the butchering, to spread out into the butchering business. I mean, nowadays they do everything. I went there like 6 months ago, and now this week I did another trip, and they had even a bigger portfolio. They now start to do wine as well. They have coffee, wine. I don't know. Sometimes I guess they don't do bread yet. I guess they buy it from a bakery, a local bakery. But yeah, at some point they might. What's the next logical step after chocolate and coffee and wine and meat? I don't know. Maybe cheese. I'm sure they will. At some point they will do some cheese as well. I mean, they already have the milk, I think, for the chocolate. So why not expand into cheese as well? If there will be some Zotter cheese at some point, I've called it. Yeah, beer, of course. Yeah. But that's the thing. The region, also the country, and also the region where it's located is more like a wine thing. So of course they started with wine. I mean, basically it's more like apples and apple juice, but also wine. Yeah, they have chocolate liquor. Yeah, they have those. They have those. I guess two like brands or two sets of them. There is already chocolate liquor, and for some reason they also had at some point like very strong, at least for like chocolate factory or for like a chocolate thing, alcoholic like beverages, like some like liquor that it was like basically just filled into small vessels, like small flasks. And because they are quirky, they decided to sell this in syringes. Like you have your normal syringe, but of course without the needle, but like the basic syringe, the basic plastic thing, and they labeled it as like first aid alcohol or something funny like that. And now that I went through the gift store, I noticed that this isn't available anymore. And I was asking if they still have it, and they told me no, this has long been discontinued. And normally it's not a big deal because they have to discontinue certain items because there are constantly new ones. But apparently this was like around COVID, or like I guess it was around COVID or post-COVID. Some folks complained about the style of the package, like the syringes, and so they had to pull it from the shelf. So apparently it wasn't just like a strongly worded complaint. It was more like putting some threats into them and some lawyers and whatnot. So some people didn't get the joke, or was like free of humor, and so they had to pull it from the shelves. And yeah, maybe we can see it at the graveyard. They have a little graveyard there with some like chocolate bars, like tombstones that look like tombstones that look like chocolate bars, and on the tombstones you have like some discontinued items. And the old cemetery, where they just basically had this idea first, they just put in the tombstone and say, okay, chocolate, like banana chocolate from this year to this year, and there is no pun to it. But the new section of the graveyard, like you always have at a real graveyard, you have the old section where you have your tombs, and then the new one is just basically for your urns, where like you gets because it's much more space effective. And there you have like plaques, and all of the plaques are filled with like explanations, like funny explanations why the item was discontinued. So yeah, they evolved here as well. And since I went there with my parents this time, we spent a lot of times in the garden, and we even went all the way down to the edge of the zoo. And on the edge of the zoo there are the ostriches, and compared to all the other animals there, the ostriches are kind of like sneaky, and they actually come to you and try to like not bite you, but at least they come to you, and you can't pet them because then you will get bitten, I guess, but you can feed them with like grass. So all the other animals are like, they don't come to you, but the ostriches, they are feisty creatures. Oh god, my tummy is rumbling so hard. I really have to eat something after that. Maybe a second breakfast. I mean, I had one breakfast, but what about the second breakfast? Actually, that's a lot. I mean, I had cake for breakfast, like apricot cake. My mother makes a really delicious apricot cake, because usually apricot cake is a white cake, like a biscuit that is filled with apricots. And for some reason our family used to make it like a dark cake, like basically the same dough you use for brownies or for like muffins. And this dark dough, like the chocolatey dough, goes really well with the apricots. Especially if you get one that are quite sour, and so it's a sour-sweet mix. It's really delicious. I'm wondering that this is not a thing that you can actually buy, or that some people like came up with the recipe as well, because you never see this. If you buy apricot cake, it's just basically biscuit with some apricots in there, maybe some sugar on top, some like powder sugar, but yeah. I'm glad that my mom still like bakes things, and nowadays she settled on easier things to bake, at least from a visual standpoint, because she had her phase where she made like those decorated cakes where it's just basically a ton of sugar paste, marzipan, and chocolate, and of course they looked awesome. It's almost like the things that I make from like wood and like paste and cardboard, but then of course it wasn't really delicious because it was so much like sugar paste, and basically it was edible, but it didn't taste good. It looked nice, but it didn't taste good. And most of the time, if you have like such a nice looking cake, people aren't even willing to cut it and to eat it because it looks so nice. It's like, oh, we can't cut this. Let's keep it around. And so yeah, but nowadays we've settled on more like traditional cakes and tarts and stuff like that. So it's easier to bake and also easier to consume. Only problem is I have now this sausage, this big like a salami or something, but I don't have any bread. I mean, I guess I have bread, but I want to have like good bread. And since today is a holiday, I cannot buy one, so this has to wait. So. But I guess I won't eat much for lunch because tonight, like I said, I have an appointment at dinner. So yeah, checking out a new Asian place in Vienna. Because the cool thing is, if you go to Vienna on a holiday, on a public holiday, you can park wherever you want. It's just a Sunday. On Sundays and on public holidays, you can just neglect the parking rules and just park wherever you find a space. You don't have to worry about it. But then again, I think we are going like to some like to like basically the skyline of Vienna. So I guess there aren't like any parking spots available. So yeah, we have to use a garage, a parking garage. So yeah, I have to pay as well, and I guess a pretty hefty amount. It's always the case with those garages. But yeah. That's a nice thing if you live like on the countryside. You basically don't have to worry about parking. You just park wherever you want. I wouldn't believe it, but when we renovated the garden, we had to like actually go to the like the town hall and ask for a permit to close off our there is no designated parking spot in front of the house, so everyone can park wherever you want. But we had to close off a certain area for some containers and some work materials. And normally people do this on a unregulated basis, but if you have to close it for a few weeks, it's better to get a permit. It doesn't really cost you that much, or it's not that hard to obtain. And we really had those signs that you normally see on the road, where it says, okay, you can't park here from to. And yeah. It's not the thing where you make friends with the neighbors, because everyone can use their driveway to park, but usually just for one car, and people have more than one car, so they still have to park outside. And now we are closing off 2 parking spots. It was a bit oh, sorry. So yeah. Okay. Ah, okay, there is a little edge that I can just paint white. Where the light breaks. Would be interesting if I have still a white paint left. Okay, maybe here as well. I mean, there is a slight bevel that I can pronounce a bit. You have to look really hard, because the more paint I add here, the more those little details get swallowed up. And I've also sanded those parts. Quite vicious. But I'm a pro sanding guy. I don't know. Some people say it's unnecessary, or you don't have to, or you don't should sand your parts. But I think if you do it with a very fine grit, then the colors will stick better. Every time I painted on not sanded part, it was I don't know, this doesn't feel right. It's actually my 4th or 5th model kit that I've built since I started this at the start of the year. This hobby, or this side quest to figure collecting, and I'm sitting here painting the whole thing with weathering, and I had to put some LEDs into the frame, but not the ones that you usually use for those kind of endeavor. No, I just some normal LEDs that I found in my drawer, in my junk drawer. So yeah, I might be way over my head into this. To be honest, maybe I should start with something more easy and go from there. But no, I will just start with the not with the basics, but it's like baking a cake, and you take the eggs and you put the candles into the eggs. That's basically what I'm doing. It's like this one meme where there's this staircase, and the person is reaching to the last step of the process and neglect all the other processes underneath. And now it's iced coffee. That reminds me, I really want to, because I have all the equipment, and now I have so much coffee. For some reason, I got a bit of coffee this birthday, and I have to use it because it's a specialty coffee, and would be bad if it got stale. I might do some cold brew. I really want to do some cold brew batches this year, and for cold brew you need some some more coffee grounds, and of course some time. But I guess in the summer, maybe I will start drink cold brew coffee in the streams. Or is this a bad idea to do this at night? I don't know. Usually I don't respond to coffee so that I can't sleep. It's not a thing. It's the same with energy drinks. I like the taste of energy drinks, but I don't feel more awake or more energized when I drink them. So I don't know. But I really have to get my diet like straight, because the last couple weeks were pretty bad in terms of nutrition. Normally, at least I cook on the weekends, or maybe we have some family dinners on the weekends, and then I also have some leftovers. But since we took all the time to work in the garden, yeah, my diet was pretty one-sided and pretty bad last couple of weeks. And so I have to get this sorted out. So is the microphone still running? Yeah, okay, fine. For some reason I know that those batteries won't last long. And like I said, there is no indication. There is no like there's no sound that it's going out. But there isn't also like a status, like a battery status that tells you how much is left. Because then I would like check it before each stream, and if it's too low, I would change it right away. But nope, nothing. Okay, so that's the last part. I really hate this. This is like like some like strap that you have to put into place on the armor with this two little knobs. So you pull it apart and then it snaps into place. It's a really nice solution to mount something, but this is one of those pieces that you can't grab with a clamp, with a crocodile thing, because at some point you have to paint this part as well. So I don't like those pieces. Because usually, of course, I try to have it mounted in a way so that I can paint the whole thing and not just leave certain areas untouched. Okay, so I think that's it. Let me put all those pieces on the board, and then we can take a final look before I will go off and grab something to eat. Let's see. I'm really glad I have this bouncer over here. Don't use it that much, but I can use it as a metallic surface to put something on here. So I really made some progress today. I'm almost proud of myself. I made some progress. Let's close this off because you know, it's getting hard by itself. Dries up. I guess I will also try to like use a top coat as well, and maybe I finally find some use for the glossy top coat, because normally you don't want to have a glossy surface on your model kits, but I guess with the armor we can make an exception. It wouldn't be wise to spray paint those metallic parts with a matte top coat. Okay. This one as well. And that one as well. Okay, so now we have it. Still a bit of coffee in here. So, and now let's switch things up and go into presentation. Pull this up a bit. So here are all the parts that are now fairly done. I mean, I have to apply some weathering dry rub. Like, where is it? I just dropped all the colors. Luckily they are closed, but they survived the hard floor. I'm kind of amazed. Where are those like? Okay, I only have this one here. This is like the weathering kits from the Tamiya. I mean, those are like colors for skin tones, but I have one for like military stuff as well, so this goes quite well with this armor. So yeah. Painting the metallic parts is actually quite easy. I like to paint metallic. Don't have to be as precise. So yeah. Okay. Oh. Did one break? No, nothing did break. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So because at some point something will fall down and it will break. I have to come up with a storage solution for those paint containers. So either one I can print one myself, but I don't want to print something that can be bought for little money. Don't want to waste filament and time to print something that I can buy. And I don't know how I will arrange it, so I will just do this a bit later on. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today's PLAMonday. It was a Monday, but it was not the usual time slot. Usually I do this later at night, like 9 hours from now. But yeah, because I have more free time at night after work, and but maybe I will do some like special occasion streams on different time slots now that I have a bit more free time. And yeah, so let's see if we can rate someone, if someone is online, because I never do this at this time of the day. So let's see if we can hop on to someone. Let's see. Okay, so no one, I guess no one is online that I know. Shocking, because it's a totally different time. But let's see if somebody is doing something that interests me. Oh. Here is someone is building a 30-minute sister kit. So it's same product line, but the humanoid figures, the girl ones. So Deadlight 86. Let's check him out. Thank you so much for watching the stream, and I will see you again on Friday for full time if you want. So take care out there.